I think about it a lot and say, why did this happen to us?
It's just scary because I don't know what if something happens and I can't reach a phone and I get really, really low and it's really hard to move and something happens bad.
I've had this bracelet since I was diagnosed, just in case of an emergency or like a car accident, and maybe I passed out and nobody else was around that knew I was a diabetic.
The Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation International, or JDRF, is the leading charitable funder and advocate for juvenile type 1 diabetes research worldwide. The mission of JDRF is to find a cure for diabetes and its complications through the support of research. Type 1 diabetes is a disease which strikes children suddenly and requires multiple injections of insulin daily or a continuous infusion of insulin through a pump just to survive. Insulin, however, is not a cure for diabetes, nor does it prevent its eventual and devastating complications, which may include kidney failure, blindness, heart disease, stroke, and amputation.
Katie and Carrie have insulin-dependent diabetes, otherwise known as juvenile diabetes, and it has really changed our lives quite a bit. We try to make it as normal as possible, but when Kate was diagnosed at age 4, our whole life did a flip-flop because everything had to change. You had to eat meals at a certain time. You had to be concerned about what you fed your child now, and they couldn't have whatever they wanted like they could in the past. And that was real difficult, particularly for Katie, because she was used to just eating whatever she wanted. And when we said, no, you can't have that piece of candy anymore, she would cry, and that would grab you, and your heart would hurt, and it was just really difficult.
I remember the first time I had to get an injection, I knew I needed it, but I didn't want to do it. So my mom took a doll and we gave it to the doll first, and that helped me understand that it's okay and it won't kill me or anything. And
I've been getting shots ever since I was diagnosed when I was 4, so at normal meal times, not at lunch, but like in breakfast and at dinner, I need to get a shot. But at lunch, I don't need to get a shot, and if I'm having a snack, I don't have to get a shot. So it depends on what my blood sugar is.
There's nothing you can do to prepare. I mean, it just happens. Actually, the first year Katie was diagnosed, Christmas Eve, actually Christmas morning at about 3:30 in the morning, they were all 3 girls were sleeping in the same room, and my oldest came in at 3:30 in the morning and said, Mom, something's wrong with Katie. I can't wake her up. And she's breathing funny. And I thought, oh my goodness, here we go, because this was the first thing that had ever happened to her. And she had incredibly low blood sugar, and we couldn't wake her up. And so I called the doctor, and I'm shaking and everything. And he said, try to get some sugar under her tongue, put some icing there, whatever you can do. And get your glucagon, which is a medication that can actually pull you back from the brink, essentially. And I had it ready, and he was on the phone with me as we were doing everything, and she woke up. But she was sick all of Christmas Day because it was just, she was so close to almost dying, and that was really scary. So that brought it home big time. I tried to make things as normal as possible. One of the hard things was, for me anyway, in the beginning when they're invited for sleepovers, is letting them go. Oh my gosh, what if something happens? Would the family know what to do? Would they ever forgive themselves if something happened? Would they know to call 911 if they didn't know what to do? So that was always my big worry.
I like to ice skate like Carrie does, and I used to play soccer, and I play piano and flute, and I like to read a lot.
I just think they're normal kids. They just have to worry a little bit more about what they eat and how they take care of themselves. I don't see them any differently.
I like to play with my friends. I like to put on plays with my school, and I like to play the mandolin. I just started, so I'm not very good, but
JDRF is the world's leading funder of diabetes research. It is the only major diabetes organization focused exclusively on research. It is the #1 nonprofit, non-governmental funder of diabetes research worldwide. Since its founding in 1970 by parents of children with juvenile diabetes, JDRF has awarded more than $600 million to diabetes research. In fiscal year 2001, it provided $115 million to diabetes research. Through its research funding, JDRF has been instrumental in establishing a focus on the needs of all people with diabetes, which has helped set the world's diabetes research agenda to find a cure. In a typical year, 85% of JDRF's expenditures directly support research and education about research.
I'm getting a strip out of the bottle and I'm putting it in the monitor, and I'm pricking my finger, ow, and put it on the little red dot. Oops, I don't know if that's going to be enough. And it counts down 5 seconds, so it worked. I was 82, and now I write it down so I can record it. If I feel low, then I need to check it, because if I'm low, I need to have something to eat. And just for like regular meal times, I need to check my sugar, so I know if I need something to eat afterwards or something, or just like my regular meal, and how much I need basis for insulin.
She gets 3 injections a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at dinner time, and then she gives her own injection before bed. She checked her blood sugar a few minutes ago and it was 82. Generally, I would give her 1 unit of insulin for a blood sugar of 82, but because I know what we're going to be giving her for dinner, I need to give her a little bit more to cover that. So probably about 5 minutes or so before dinner, I would give her her shot and she'd sit down and eat.
I got this when I was in 4th grade. I was about 10 years old, and I've had it ever since, and it's in my leg right now. And I have to change the site every 3 days, so I move it around for my legs and even in my stomach. To make an insulin injection, you have to push the select button and it'll come up to a screen, and that was the last bolus I did. And then you hit the activate button and it'll beep. And then you use these arrows to determine how much you need, and then you push activate again, and then it'll just start going in. It'll make little clicks, and then when it's done, it'll beep. It's a lot easier, because I remember at sleepovers, my parent would have to come in the morning to give me a shot for breakfast. But with this, my parent doesn't have to come anymore, and I can stay and eat lunch and get up late because I don't need shots at a regular time. And this is very flexible with my schedule, and I can just eat really whenever I want because I'm pretty much covered.
You don't have to worry about getting shots, and you don't have to do your blood sugar, and you can just eat. Like, it would be nice to have a cure because you don't have to worry about it like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can just relax, or you can use as much energy as you want, and you can just, like, if you're out with your friends and they're having like ice cream or something, you know you can have it too because you don't have diabetes, and that's just nice about it.
I think it'd be a lot easier to live without having all this extra responsibility, and I could just, you know, go on vacation and not have to like get a doctor note and have everything to worry about, like losing it or something breaking, and it'll just be a lot easier if there's a cure.
So they can live more normally, so they don't have to worry about what they eat and what they drink, and so they can go to birthday parties and not have to worry about checking their sugar to eat birthday cake, or about doing too much exercise and they might have to eat something afterwards, to just be able to do what they want and not have to worry about it.
Insulin is not a cure, it is a panacea. It's just something there to help. You know, their body doesn't produce enough insulin, so you give the insulin. It's not a cure. And that's what we want. That's what we want desperately. I would like my 2 kids to be able to do everything that normal kids can do and not have to worry about, you know, an insulin pump attached to them 24 hours a day, or, you know, 3 shots a day, or sticking their finger, you know, umpteen times a day. I'd like them to have a normal life.
Help fund the Central Virginia chapter of the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. You might just save a child's life.